Hello and welcome to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM, the official radio show of the Mississauga Steelheads, the official podcast of the Mississauga Steelheads as well. This is our third episode here on the radio. Now at a different time, airing at 3 o'clock, leading into the Steelheads game here today, coming up in just a bit against the Erie Otters. I'm Brendan Lang here with you, along with my broadcast partners, my broadcast friends, Mikey Karafalidis, and Zach Bodenstein. Guys, lots happened since we've talked. Thanksgiving weekend, everything went by. So lots to talk about. I know we'll probably get into some great story about Mikey and what happened to him when we get into his life tips. I'm excited to hear about that. Always good stories. But we'll just kind of start things off with how's everybody doing, Mikey? How was the Thanksgiving weekend and how have you been so far?
Oh, good. It was a great Thanksgiving weekend. We had everybody over and stuff like that. Well, whatever. Actually, my sister hosted it this year, so it was really nice. Nice to get the family over. Ate a lot of turkey. Ate a lot of stuffing, all that kind of stuff. I think the best part was playing charades. We played charades with the kids and stuff, right?
I like it.
So my uncle had to act out sign language. And he's acting out sign language like this, like putting up his hand and going like this. We didn't know what the heck he was talking about, right? So he gets frustrated. So he gets frustrated when you don't get the answer. And he thought it was so easy and he wasn't acting it right. If you're doing sign language, you go like this and like this, right? Anyway, so I'm doing sign language if you're listening on the radio side. So anyways, so we played charades and stuff and he was getting frustrated and I kept saying, fish, are you a fish? And he said, no, and he got frustrated. And then the time ran out. And he said, no, it's sign language. Oh, my God, I can't believe you didn't get it. I'm like, I go, what's this? I said to him, with your hand. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. We played that with the games and good to be with family. It was a great weekend.
It's good. Classic Karafalidis is just praising each other's voices at one another over charades. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's lots of fun. That's it.
Oh, we had a feast, guys. Like 3 or 4 different main courses, beef, fish. It was fantastic. So obviously, we eat big. We got to eat big. We love it. So great to be with the family as well. That's always the number one, as Mikey says. And I know, Brendan, you're on board there, that it's just all about being together. And that's really the whole idea of Thanksgiving. So, enjoyed that. Catching up on some hockey. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a Texas Rangers fan. They're in the American League Championship Series. No big deal. So that's been great. And boys, just again, enjoying the strong start to the season for the Steelheads and enjoying some family time, working hard, doing my thing.
Zach, those Texas Rangers. So I picked the Phillies to win the World Series, but they look unbeatable. Texas right now. Like it's crazy. I mean, you always have the bullpen concerns because they haven't been good all year. And usually, big time bullpens are really important in the playoffs, but man, the way that they're hitting the ball right now, it just looks like nobody's going to be able to beat them. And Baltimore getting swept. No American League East team won a game in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they were the best division in the league. So
good. I like it that way. The Blue Jays aren't in. Nobody's in. That's it. Get the whole American League East out, and that's the way she goes. Absolutely. I like it.
If we can't have fun, nobody can.
It's been amazing, though. 1 through 9, like guys like Leody Taveras are raking. I mean, playing solid defense. It's what it all is. Comes down to the bullpen. Ultimately, I think it's going to be their demise. I don't know if, they have what it takes to even get past the CS with that bullpen. But I mean, it's been a fun ride, right? They're in a place they haven't been in 12 years. And you think about the team that Texas had 12 years ago when they got to this position. And I mean, some of them are Hall of Famers. Some of them are just some of the best players of the 2010s decade. So this is fun. The young players are a lot better than they're supposed to be. It kind of reminds me of the Mississauga Steelheads. So good segue there.
Good comparison.
No, this seems way better than the teams 14 years ago, 12 years ago.
Exactly.
Way better.
And if you're a Texas Rangers fan, you probably don't want to remember 12 years ago. That was a different time. But anyways, Thanksgiving was great for me as well. God, I didn't have the type of food that Zach had, all the different types. It was all turkey. We didn't have the beef. We didn't have all that stuff. But I got to ask, did you have turkey too, Zach?
Yeah.
Okay, there was turkey in there as well. Okay. Are you guys white meat or dark meat guys on the turkey?
White.
Yeah?
All the way.
Dark,
all the way.
Yeah. For turkey, white. I would say for chicken, white as well, but I'll lean dark for chicken a little bit. Dark turkey has this weird taste to me. I don't know, guys. For me, it's
same
white meat.
Yeah,
See,
no, same.
I'm on the dark meat side with the turkey. I feel like, I'm always a little bit different with the food choices here on the show as opposed to you guys. But I don't know. I
Yeah,
just
that's right. You are. Absolutely.
find the white part of the turkey maybe a little bit too dry. I don't know. I guess if it's cooked well, it's not. But anyways, we can kind of move on from food.
Well, one more thing before
Okay,
that.
one more thing. Yes,
I make steak for myself like once or twice a week, and I make it medium rare. I
There we
always
go.
send a picture to my friends, and the same friend who's a pretty active listener of Trout Talk always says Brendan would hate that with a laughing emoji. So just
That's
so you
right.
know, your food takes are getting noticed, my friend.
Okay. We're
Yeah,
getting
no
that
kidding.
out there. Medium to medium well. That's
Medium well. You may have grab a piece of rubber for. Grab a piece of
All
rubber,
right.
take a bite out of it for my goodness.
Speaking of rubber, the Steelheads put some rubber to the road they got out in Oshawa. That is a big time transition right there. I'm going to mark that one down. They went out at Oshawa. Mikey, you, of course, were there calling that game. They were undefeated going into Oshawa. Kind of came out a little bit flat. We talked to JR before the game on Sunday. So kind of what you can kind of give us a rundown of what happened out there in Oshawa.
Well, Oshawa, you know what? It was pretty much that was it right there. They came up flat against the Oshawa Generals. The Oshawa Generals really put the forecheck to them big time. And the Steelheads it was one of those games. It was one of those games. You're gonna have one of those games all season. Ivan Kovic, that was Jack Ivan Kovic's first OHL start. He was really good, even though he gave up 4 goals and it was a 4-1 victory for the Oshawa Generals. He was outstanding. He made some outstanding saves. It was another positive thing was Luke Dragusica was his first OHL start on defense. He looked very confident out there. In the beginning, he looked a little bit maybe obviously his first game and, a little bit nervous, right? But then once he settled into the game, he got better and better and better. And he saw a lot of ice time that game. And you know what? Congratulations to Kieran Witowski that game, picking up his first OHL point. Another rookie for the Steelheads on an assist on the only Steelheads marker in that game. And they just came out flat, but it's just the way she goes sometimes. Sometimes you're going to have those games where you're flat. And they really made up for it the next day. That's for sure. So, but good overall. It was a good stepping point. And like I said, you're going to have one of those games once in a while.
And it was a tough spot, I would say. You played Niagara the night before, and then they woke up. They had an early practice. They had to go to Oshawa. It was a lot, So for me, they put him in a bit of a tough spot. The team, I should say. Ivan Kovic. I asked JR before the game over the weekend a week ago, and he said he liked Jack's game. Like you said, the team just had an off night, and that happens, and that's okay. And you're waiting. Dave Anderchuk's numbers being retired. The game didn't start till like 8 p.m., so it was a lot later than it was scheduled for. So a lot of factors here. But I don't think it was the easiest spot. A back-to-back against a good team on the road. And like we saw last week, Brantford beat Oshawa, and then Brantford had to come into Mississauga for the back-to-back, and Mississauga thumped them. So, I still think the Steelheads are in pretty good position here. Great start, I would say. And Dragusica, like you mentioned, he played the game after that against the Brantford Bulldogs. And Brendan and I were on the call. We thought he was rock solid. He laid the body. He played it safe, but he also wasn't afraid to jump up if he had to. And just good instincts, I would say, for Luke Dragusica.
Yeah, he's not scared.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. And like nervous wise, and he's not scared to go into the dirty areas and play with his body either. We saw a few good hits there in the second game. Yeah, because 3 guys making their OHL debut too in that game in Oshawa. You mentioned Kieran Witowski and Dragusica back there, and then of course Ivan Kovic. And good to hear that Ivan Kovic kind of gets in there. He had a great preseason. Get him an opportunity here to get his debut under his belt. And yeah, of course he lets in those goals. But again, he played probably better than what the numbers show according to you and what JR said.
No, he played fantastic. Yeah, he played. He was really, it took him a little bit. You could tell, again, nervous in the beginning. He had that solo lap, out there with Witowski in the beginning, and Dragusica was pretty cool. But then again, once Jack Ivan Kovic settled in, he was really good. He made some really good stops side to side. And the one thing that really impressed me against the Oshawa Generals boys was his rebound control. His rebound control was outstanding against the Generals. So, wow. Yeah. Pretty good off the back-to-back against the and they played a Thursday against the Neg Rice Dogs. Leanders picking up another shutout, right? 29 saves against the Neg Rice Dogs and picking up OHL goaltender of the week, boys. That's there's 2 out of 3 games, 2 shutouts. Not too bad, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
That's,
Zach, you on the broadcast said it multiple times. He's been the best goalie in the OHL for the start of the year.
And it's crazy, right? You talk about guys like Dom DiVincentis and Michael Simpson, but who saw 17-year-old Ryerson Leanders doing what he's doing? I got a text from his dad, Gordon, today. I've been getting a lot of messages from his dad, showing me the honors that he won CHL Player of the Week again, Goalie of the Week again. Like, all these accolades, and they're all warranted. He's been fantastic. Not that the team in front of him has been bad, but when Ryerson's been called upon, lateral movement, he's so poised and so calm. It looks so easy for him. And that glove hand, Brendan, that we were referencing on the broadcast over and over again, like, he just looks locked in right now. It is really tough to beat him at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that you mentioned kind of we know the glove hand, and we saw that all of last year, but I think I said it too on the broadcast, where the positioning looks like it's in an even better spot than it was last year. And that kind of goes into the rebound control has been really good, and he's been able to see through traffic really well. So a lot of great things going on for Ryerson Leanders, and a lot of great things going on for Mississauga when they came back home after losing that game against Oshawa. Against the Brantford Bulldogs, it was kind of a shaky start there, Zach, but once they got going in the second and third periods, they really just seemed to roll offensively and on the defensive side.
Love that top line, Mikey. I mean, Martone, Misa, Mac Donnell, all these guys were good last year, but they are on a different level. And, the behind-the-back passes, the cycles, nobody can touch them when they're out there. And, we can talk about the Steelheads' depth later on, but for me, this top line is just so dominant right now.
Yeah, they're playing fantastic. And you know what? Once they get going with the forecheck, and once they start going hard, everybody starts going hard. That line sets the tone 100% for the Steelheads. Martone was absolutely fantastic. Mac Donnell was fantastic. Misa, my goodness, looked like a bullet, a speeding bullet out there. You know what? We're just waiting for guys like Vecchia to start stepping up. Carmiris to start stepping up. Once these guys start stepping up, I'll tell you, and it's early in the season. Hey, it's only we're 5 games in or whatever we're going on. Look out. This Steelheads team is going to be pretty good shape, and they are right now, and they're going to be even better if those guys can really step up.
Yeah, and then speaking on Xander Vecchia there, of course, doesn't have a goal yet, but he made some really great plays in that game against Brantford, driving the net hard, playing that power forward type of game that we like to see from him. So we're going to talk to Porter Martone here in just a moment, but before we get to that, just kind of want to quickly get your thoughts on that goal he scored. I know we're going to ask him in a moment here, but Mikey, you've seen it by now. Of course, Zach, you were on the call, so just quickly, kind of, what were your first reactions when you saw that?
Honestly, oh my God. That's what I kept saying. Oh my God. What? You got to be kidding me. And just the way he took the puck right at the defenseman, had him flat footed, right? And I can't remember who he took it. Was it Lucas Moore?
Yeah.
That he dressed inside out. Okay. So he took it right at Lucas Moore. And then Lucas Moore was just like, whoa, what's going on? Also, whoop. And then that move. We've seen that before. We've seen that move in the Ivan Halinka. He did the same thing. Right? Through the legs, whatever. Oh, my goodness me. Wow. I mean, this guy's eligible for 2025 NHL draft, and he better be a first-round pick. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He better be a first-round pick. So he's so dominant out there, Porter Martone. I mean, physicality, his competitiveness, that goal was just unbelievable. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah.
He'll be a first-round pick. He might even be a first overall pick. I
think that's what I was getting to. Yeah.
Michael Misa, I mean, it's hard to argue against him, but Porter is really making a case. And again, we've still got 2 full seasons to play before this guy gets drafted to the NHL. So, I mean, we can, talk about that as long as we can. But yeah, I mean, he comes down that right wing, cuts to the middle, and he kind of knows what he's going to do. He says, I know I'm going to pull this off. We've seen him pull off through the legs. We've seen him put it through defenders. And very similar to what Connor Bedard did in the WHL last year, through the defender and then through the legs. That goal was posted everywhere on social media. TSN, Bar Down picked it up. And I mean, it's going to be hard to top that, not only for the Steelheads, but in all of junior hockey. I don't think we're going to see a better play than that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely easily a goal of the year candidate here early on in the season. So we're going to speak
Easily.
to the man. Yeah, of course. We're going to speak to the man who
100%.
pulled that off. We're going to speak to him.
150% that's goal of the year, my man, Brendan.
It is. It is right now. I mean, anything can happen. But yes, that is the early candidate for goal of the year. We're going to speak to Porter Martone next here coming up. You're listening to Trout Talk on Saga 960 AM. All right, welcome back to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. Brendan Lang here with you, along with Mikey K, Mike Karafalidis, and Zach Bodenstein, Saga 960 AM broadcast team. And now we'd like to welcome to the show Mississauga Steelheads forward Porter Martone. Porter, thanks for coming on. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Not too
fantastic,
bad,
buddy. Fantastic.
So thanks for coming on. How's the early season treating you here so far?
Anytime. Yeah, I feel like it's been good. We've got off to a good start. Team's really coming together, and I feel like we're just going to continue to grow as the season goes on. Especially we have such a young team. It's gonna take some adversity and some bumps in the road, but I feel like we got a good team this year, and I feel like if we keep working on things we are in practice and continue to play how we are in the games, I feel like we can go as far as we want.
Dude, has your phone stopped blowing up yet? Because for me, I only called the goal. I didn't score it. I didn't score the goal. I just called it, but my phone was even blowing up. So tell me about the reaction of that. I mean, that was insane.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. The cool thing was I played with the guy growing up, Lucas Moore. I played with him. He was on the team all the way growing up in Peterborough, and then I came off the ice and kind of looked at my phone and I saw it. So I was posted on like couple websites, but I've kind of practiced that move quite a bit of times in practice, and then kind of just came naturally in the game.
So you just decided you were going to do that move coming down the wing. You said, "That's it. I'm doing this right now."
Yeah,
is that what it was?
I saw an opening through the Chiefs' legs, and then once I brought it to my back, and I thought the goalie would bite there, so I just brought it back between my legs and just roofed it a bit.
Beautiful.
And that's I mean, we were just talking about it before the break, but that's kind of your second highlight reel goal that's been posted all over the place. If you had to choose one, it's kind of a hard decision to make, but which one would you go with, your goal there in the Lincoln Gretzky Cup against the US or the one that you pulled off a couple days ago?
I don't know. Both are pretty cool. I feel like the US one was at a crucial time, definitely at an international stage too. So that's kind of cool representing my country, but I feel like both of them were pretty cool. And I feel like I just trying to help the team win, so I did whatever I had to do.
So the top line with you, Luke, and Angus has been dominant so far. What makes guys like that so easy to play with? Because you guys look locked in right now.
Yeah, I feel like we've came together since training camp. They kind of put us together. The JR kind of said you guys are gonna be playing together, and we've got like different players in our lines, but we complement each other very well. Angus is a very hardworking player, and he's very smart with the puck and makes very good plays. And then Luke's just very fast, and he might be one of the smartest hockey players I've ever played with too. He always knows we're on the ice, and I feel like just all three of us playing our own game just gets each other the puck, and we just are able to create offense and score goals.
The way you guys came back against the Brantford Bulldogs, playing against Joshua Generals, it was one of those kind of nights, right, Porter? And everybody was kind of, it was kind of a flat day, but then you guys came out the way you guys came out the next day and absolutely pretty much dominated the Brantford Bulldogs, in my opinion, humble opinion. What was the key? Like, what did Richmond say to you guys? I want to know what he said, and I want the truth.
Yeah, I feel like even Thursday night in Niagara, we didn't play our best game. They kind of took it to us, and Ryerson kept us in there. And then Friday we didn't come back and bounce back. I feel like we as a team we played a bit better than Thursday night, but we didn't help Jack out at all. They scored a couple of power play goals, and then we kind of Saturday went to the practice and just kind of reset, and we just knew if we came out and played our game against Brantford, we were gonna win that game. And we came out in all four lines. We're just rolling. We're hard in the forecheck, and we kind of just took it to them and just won.
Total domination. I mean, it's one of those games when you're sitting back. I mean, I wasn't there, whatever, but watching the game, see if you're watching that game and you're a Steelheads fan, it's one of those games you could put your feet up and just kind of say, well, this is the Steelheads team that I know, right? When you guys go hard with that forecheck, that's it. And especially with your line, you guys are clicking big time. That's all beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
And JR told us that you had an early morning practice before or after that game against Oshawa. Just kind of talk about it. It's your first full season here in Mississauga. Just what James Richmond and now Stephon Thorne, of course, coming over and helping out with the Steelheads as well. What has the coaching staff done for your development here so far?
Yeah, they've done so much. When I got traded over at the deadline last year, I was kind of blind coming in. I didn't know much about Mississauga, but I feel like I've developed into a way better player. JR's a very player's first coach and always trying to make you better and develop you, but also trying to win. And I feel like they hit him and definitely Crackers last year helped me a lot, especially being a rookie. It's different. You're being a rookie playing against guys older, and they taught me the way to play, and I just going to continue to play like that. And then Thorny coming in this year, he's a very player's first coach as well. Always stays out with us after practice, and it just works on little things, even just chipping pucks off wall, just winning faceoffs. And him and JR and Matt, they're just trying to create us better players and develop us to the next level, but also trying to win a OHL championship and World Cup and bring it back to Mississauga.
And it might be extra difficult for you because you've got some added responsibilities. In fact, a lot of you guys do. You got to play the wing and you got to play center sometimes. So what are some of the challenges of trying to figure it all out and balance two positions?
Yeah, I feel like this playing two positions, it's kind of a part of hockey because when you move on to the next level, you don't know where you're going to play. You don't know. Maybe if you're a winger and all winger spots are filled up and they play you at center. So especially JR kind of just puts us in different roles and he teaches us. And I feel like by having that in the next level is going to be huge for your hockey development.
I think that I feel, Porter, I know I've talked to you about this before. We've had an interview about this, but now you could tell everybody, on the radio side and on this podcast. I mean, in the Holinka and the under 18s, you winning a gold medal, winning a bronze medal, unbelievable. Tell everybody about the feeling about hearing the national anthem. And I feel as well that as soon as that tournament, your confidence level just went up and it just keeps going up. Talk about that.
Yeah, especially playing the first U18 Worlds, definitely with a bunch of 05s who are going to be draft eligible. They helped me just play with them. Playing against some harder competition was really good, and we won a bronze medal there. And then a couple of our 06s there, me and Cadden, and came to the Holinka kind of. We had a bit of fire in our stomach after winning a bronze. We wanted to win a gold medal, and we didn't start off the tournament very good in the Ivan Holinka. We lost the first game, but we kind of came together and. We won a gold medal overtime. It was really probably the coolest moment of my life. It was in Czechia. We were playing Czechia, so it wasn't that loud when we scored, but I just remember all of us screaming and then listening to that Canadian national anthem on the blue lines. Probably you're dreaming that since you're a little kid, and it was probably one of the coolest moments of my life.
And kind of on that topic of playing for Team Canada at these events, how did that process work of you being chosen for this team, and how did you kind of know that you were going to be on this roster?
Yeah, so for the first one, actually, like the U18 Worlds, we got beat out against North Bay, Game 6 in Mississauga, and us kind of just sat in the room for about an hour, and then I get in the car, and my parents were going to drive back to my house and pack up my clothes because we're going to have the X meetings the next day, and then head out back to Peterborough, and I get home, and I get a phone call from, I think it was BC, and I answer the phone, he's like, and I had no clue because it wasn't even my eligible age, so I didn't think I was even going to be like in mention for this game. He says, yeah, you're going to be flying out to Switzerland tomorrow. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you're going to play on the U18 Worlds team. And I was in disbelief. And I remember walking back into my billets home and said I was going to be doing that. It was pretty cool and a special moment with my parents. And then for the Holinka, I just got a call in the summer from the head coach. And I feel like after I got that call, I was pretty determined to win a gold medal. And it happened. So it was pretty cool.
At what point did you know that Angus was going to be playing with you at the Holinka as well? Did he call you up, or how did that work?
Yeah, I got the call, and I didn't know if I didn't want to call him and ask him if he did, just in case he didn't make it. And then I think his mom actually texted my mom and told me he made it, and I did the same. And then we went and saw each other that night with the rest of the team. It was kind of a cool saying goodbye to all the boys that night, and then we got to fly out to Switzerland together and spend another month with each other before we head home for the summer.
Unbelievable. You know what, Porter, talk to everybody about, I know your family, again, they billeted Chase Stillman, right? And Chase Stillman,
Yeah.
former OHL champion with the Peterborough Petes. How much of an influence did Chase have on you? And how about Corey Stillman? I mean, I'm sure you talked to both of them. So how much of an influence that they had on you, on your young career?
Yeah, Chase is like a big brother to me. He's a first round pick to the NHL, so He's always he knows the ins and outs, especially of the junior league, and helped me a lot my first year. And getting to witness him going through winning the OHL championship last year, I was there for the whole Eastern Conference Finals and OHL Finals. You got to go on the ice when they won. It was pretty cool. And Corey won an OHL championship. Chase won an OHL championship. And my dad won an OHL championship, and Chase's brother won an OHL championship. So
What does that
kind
mean?
of a joke after they won that it was only time for me to win. So after seeing Peterborough and the community rally together like that, and hopefully we could bring that back to Mississauga and win an OHL championship here.
And you mentioned your dad there. I mean, we've talked about it on the broadcast before, but he's a legend in Peterborough playing for the Petes. What kind of impact has he had on your hockey playing a career so far?
Yeah, he's definitely been probably my biggest role model growing up. Scoring the game winner to win the OHL championship was pretty cool. But him and my sister, he's guided us the way in the hockey direction and kind of taught us, especially me. He went through his junior career and kind of taught me the ins and outs, but also told me to live it like you're only living it once. And I feel like he's helped me in my hockey career tremendously by always working with me. And then my mom as well. She's always been like very hard on me, wanted me to be the hardest worker I can. And she's helped me throughout my life, especially moving away at such a young age. She's always there for a phone call to talk about things. And I feel like both my parents are very big role models for me and my sister.
Well, you've told me in the past you think you kind of play like Corey Perry a little bit. So you need that nastiness to play like Corey Perry. Did your dad instill that in you? Because I know he was a little bit of a Corey Perry himself.
Yeah, definitely Corey Perry is kind of my player comparison. My dad was he was a mean defenseman back in the day. So kind of always growing up, I've always had a bit of an edge on me. I used to, back in August, I remember I led my team in penalties, and I feel like just playing with an edge helps you, gives you creates a lot of space for you on the ice. So he's kind of taught me that, but I feel like I gotta this year I'm gonna work on a bit more discipline. Don't always have to fight and do all that, but I'll always play with an edge.
Porter, your dream vacation, man. Where's your dream vacation? We're going to go things on a lighter note here. If you were to go somewhere in the world for a month, where would you go? I want to know why. I'll tell you where I would go. I'd go to Aruba. Where would you go for a month?
I feel like I would go to somewhere like Punta Cana or something. I've been to Europe twice now, so I don't think I'll go back there. And I feel like I've never been in an all-inclusive trip, so I feel like I'd go there for a month and just I feel like I'd be a blast.
I think you come back 10 pounds heavier if you went to all-inclusive, Porter. I'll tell you that. But yeah, that's a good. Punta Cana is nice. It's got lots of resorts there, and I actually went there in the summertime. So good choice. Good choice. Yes. Aruba's out of the hurricane belt too. You don't have to worry about the hurricanes or anything like that. Say if a hurricane comes, you go downstairs, pray to God that it's not going to hit you or anything. So anyway. Yeah, good choice.
That's a really good choice. I went to Punta Cana, I think, when I was 6, so I don't really remember it too much. But
going down the slides, Brendan, going down the slides, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that was the one. We're talking kind of about food. Keeping on a lighter note, we were just talking about this before the break as well, but we're talking about Thanksgiving, and it just passed. Turkey. Are you a white meat guy or are you a dark meat guy?
I'm more of a white meat guy. I definitely I had some turkey when I went home, maybe a bit too much, but I also like Thanksgiving. I also like some ham too. I like to have ham and turkey, so I kind of loaded up on both those. We had a nice Thanksgiving dinner at my grandparents on Monday, and then definitely skated off at practice yesterday to get ready for this weekend.
Attaboy.
If any fans are making a roadie and going to watch you guys in Peterborough, you're from there, obviously, you know the area well. Where's the spot to go get some good food?
Yeah, there's a couple good spots. I like going downtown to it's called Riley's. It's kind of like a little pub. It's got like burgers, wings, all that, and that's usually when I go out for dinner with my parents. That's usually where I go because it's not too expensive and it's just good food. It's close to the Memorial Center.
Nice, love it. Nice. That's great. Riley's. I like those little pubs, I love those little pubs. Those are the best places to get the best food. Like enough with these East Side Marios and enough with these, Shoeless Joes and all that. The little places, the little pubs like that, like Riley's or something. That's the best wings. Those are the best food you're going to get and the best price. I don't care what anybody says. Well, let's go to Shoeless Joe's. Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's go to Riley's. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah, that's the small restaurants are always the play. Okay, well that kind of wraps things up here, Porter. Thank you so much for coming on here, talking to us, and keep it going, man. Good luck with the rest of the season. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
Later, buddy.
All right, that was Porter Martone forward for the Mississauga Steelheads. Great stuff with him. We'll be back on the other side of the break here, kind of talk a bit about that interview and what's coming up here for the Mississauga Steelheads. You're listening to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. Welcome back to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. Thanks for coming along with us here on this Sunday afternoon leading up to the Mississauga Steelheads against the Erie Otters here coming up in just a little bit. Brendan Lang here along with Mikey K, Mike Karafalidis, Zach Bonenstein. Me and Zach will be on the call here in a little bit for this upcoming game. We just spoke with Porter Martone and we were just kind of talking off the air there a little bit. Great interview with him, and he's still 16 years old. Like, I think kind of you don't even think about that when you see the way he plays and the way that we were able to talk to him there. Like, he's not going to be 17 until the end of the month of October. So really still so much room for improvement, and he's already as good as he is right now.
I know sometimes, guys, we like to focus on the person before the hockey player. So for a moment, I just want to talk about, number one, his voice has dropped since the last time I spoke to him. But he's a lot more composed. And, obviously having a camera and a mic shoved in your face when you're on the world stage representing Canada is going to do that for you. But he is a lot more mature. And we're seeing it in his play, but we're also seeing it in his demeanor. I think, you got to build the young man before you build the hockey player. So, Mikey, for me, that's the first thing that stood out to me. He's very well spoken. He knows what he's talking about, and he's very humble as well.
Everything I was just about to say. I mean, what else can you really say? Like, he's humble. He's matured like so much from last year. You can already see that. He did talk about the penalties, maybe I got to calm down on those and stuff. And he has. He's actually really calmed down on the penalties so far this year. And one thing is he's a great teammate. And the way he sticks up for his players, for his teammates, he's an unbelievable teammate, an unbelievable leader out there. I think having the A out there, forgot to ask him about that for Team Canada at the Helink, I believe he was an assistant captain. I think that really helped him as well. Don't be surprised if he gets named an assistant captain maybe of the Steelheads maybe this year, because he's a leader out there. He's a big time leader.
Yeah, and I think just kind of piggybacking off that, we always talk about, of course, the on-ice stuff. But I think with James Richmond, too, in the Mississauga Steelheads, I feel like as an organization, they really do try, and I know I've said this a bunch of times, but they really do try to build it from the personality and the person first, and then the hockey player. And I feel like, a lot of people say that they want to do that, but in practice, it doesn't really work. But I do feel like in Mississauga, that is the way that the team is built. And that's why the culture is so strong. And everybody who comes here always says, oh, it was so easy to fit in. And like everybody was so accepting and all that stuff. And you can see that with somebody like Porter. And he didn't start his career with Mississauga. He came over in a trade. And then you think of guys like Charlie Callahan and James Hardy, who were already there, and the older guys that just welcomed them in. And I think that along with the great coaching staff has really helped the players play the way they do on the ice as well.
I want to talk about one guy that came over in the deal, and you talk about composure. A guy that's been a leader is Mark Boudreau, guys. Like Mark Boudreau, he is he's an overager with the Steelheads. He was with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. We talked about him before. Sudbury Wolves, the Steelheads traded for him and whatnot. But he's a leader, and he's so positive to the guys too. And he's another guy that Porter can kind of look up to as well. And Chaz Sharp is the perfect captain. I mean, I'm telling you, Porter's just going to learn and learn and learn off of Chaz Sharp, I feel. And Porter's just going to get better and better as a leader. He's already is a leader. It's just begun, as they say. For him. Yeah,
it's funny you bring up Mark Boudreau, because we were talking to JR last week before the game, and he was saying that he's been such a good fit there. And it's early in the year, you never know what you're going to get with a new guy coming in. It's a big transition for Mark as well. This is his third team. He gets traded pretty much, I would say a week before the season, maybe 9 days, something like that, before the Steelheads officially dropped the puck on the regular season. And he's fit in very well. And JR's been calling him a meat and potatoes guy, which is great. He doesn't like meat and potatoes, right? We all do. and saying that he's been such a good mentor for what is one of the youngest teams in the OHL. So Brendan, for me, I love Mikey's point there that Mark Boudreau's been an awesome role model for this team.
Yeah, he really has. And when we talked to James Richmond about the overage players that they brought in, and Del Monte and Boudreau and Kai Schwint, he hasn't been back, probably not going to be back with the Steelheads this year. He's kind of said, we bring them in, we got to see if they work and if they fit. And right away, he said with Mark Boudreau, already it seems like it's a perfect fit for the organization, and he does so many things on the ice too, and being a leader is one thing, of course, but he can play in every situation. He can kill penalties, as we know, meat and potatoes. He plays with that physical edge as well, so a lot of different things that he can do. Before we kind of move off this topic of Porter Martone and talking about the Steelheads and move on to kind of setting up the game, I just want to kind of mention, we talked to him, I can't remember who asked it, but about playing on the line with Mac Donnell and Luke Misa, and just how they've been able to click together. And you could just tell how highly he spoke of those two guys that he plays with.
And it speaks to the maturity of Porter as well, Mikey. I think, he's acknowledging what other players do so well. And he also told me he's really good friends with Michael Misa, Luke's brother, who obviously the Steelheads played against yesterday with the Saginaw Spirit. But I mean, again, the way he talks about other people and how humble he is, I think he's giving a lot of credit to his teammates, because Angus and Luke are both off to red hot starts as well.
Yeah, don't forget Angus and Porter Martone. They came over together in that deal, right? That was huge last year. Coming over from Sarnia together,
right.
They got a big time relationship. Those guys. I mean, I asked Porter. I said, I can't remember. I something like, who's the guy, your best friend on the ice or off the ice kind of thing. And he mentioned it. He said, me and Angus came over together. We squirt water on each other and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty good to come over with the guy that you've known, you played with. And they fit in. They fit it in perfectly. They fit in perfectly. And Porter fits in perfectly. And I mean, just unbelievable. This kid's got a lot of upside, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's not a 2025 top 5 pick. I'll be very, very surprised.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, I think you said first round pick, and I know we're kind of getting at maybe the first overall pick, maybe not. Who knows? It's a ways away, but definitely will be in that mix for sure. All right, so kind of closing the book on that and moving on to, we got a game coming up here, and I guess maybe around 20 minutes at this point. Got the Mississauga Steelheads and the Erie Otters about to get going. Zach, what are you kind of looking for in this game here coming up against Erie?
Third meeting between these two teams already, and we're still in October, and we're not going to see the Brantford Bulldogs until the new year. So a little bit different look, but again, I think Erie, I don't think they played poorly in the 2 losses to open the season in that back-to-back. They've also got Spencer Sova back from the NHL. He's their new captain, so that's going to go a long way. And I think this team is starting to find its footing a little bit. I am, watching this team, noticing little details, and they are starting to play as a unit. Again, a big trade in net, new goaltender, Mikey. So a bit of a different look, a shakeup from the management as Erie and Stan Butler look to get going a little bit early on.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan Lalonde comes over. No, sorry, he goes to Saginaw. So it's a 3-team trade. Erie picking up Ben Gaudreau from the Sarnia Sting. Sarnia Sting picking up picks. I say pigs. Sorry, picks. I meant to say. Excuse me. And the Columbus Blue Jackets draft pick Nolan Lalonde goes to Saginaw. So they're looking to shake things up. And Ben Gaudreau, he's a big time goalie. He's proved it in the past. He was a draft pick of the San Jose Sharks. He hasn't signed yet though.
True.
Or he's not signed. I think he's thinking about going back into the draft. But going back to those 2 games against the Erie Otters. I mean, the first game against Erie, Ryerson Leanders got his first career shutout against them. So I'll look for Leanders probably to get the start here this afternoon against the Erie Otters. And the first game against them, the Steelheads were all over them. They're all over them. They played great. The forecheck was great. The second game in Erie was kind of the same thing. In Erie, back-to-back, and the boys came out with a lot of jump. And especially in a back-to-back, when you're coming off the bus, you might have those bus legs and stuff. I mean, it's a 4.5-hour drive from Erie to Mississauga, right? And you expect that, but they didn't. They played well again. They played well enough, and Leanders was really good. again. And so, yeah, Spencer Silva is back. It's going to be a team that's going to be hungry. They're going to be looking for blood. This is a team that's probably going to say, you know what, enough is enough. But the Steelheads have to step up. They're at home and say, you know what, you ain't beating us in our house. So we'll see. It should be a good one.
Yeah, and the first meeting between these two teams, I mean, Mississauga jumped out so quickly. What was it, 3 goals in the first 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd love to see them kind of start that way as well. And on the side of the Otters too, I mean, they had a 16-year-old starting in net to open the season, and now they have a guy like Ben Gaudreau. And I mean, it's something where they have a good team, and I don't think that they played poorly. You mentioned that, Zach, in those 2 games to Mississauga. Now they maybe just kind of have that stabilizer back there in the net, which can help them out a little bit going forward. And then the game on the road there, Mikey, and in saying that, especially after beating Erie that much the time before, you know that they were going to be looking for blood in game 2 as much as they're going to be looking for blood here in game 3. So to be able to go out, yeah, maybe they were down at some points in the game, but to show that heart to be able to come back in that one, that was kind of a perfect representation of what this early Steelheads team has looked like.
100%. The way they came together, they were down 3-2 in that game in Erie, and they came back with 3 unanswered goals to win that game. Lucas Carmere scored the winning goal in that game, and to make it 4-3. And yeah, like you said, that was a big character win. Big character win. And just like you said, that's the way this Steelheads team is. They're just, I mean, they're young, high end talent, and they just come together well. It's just the beginning.
It's a tough test, guys. Third end of a 3-3. And I'm always weary about those. I know that they played yesterday at home. They had the Friday game in Guelph, but I'm always weary of how they're able to play that 3-3. We know we're going to get some goaltender mixes. And so are the legs going to be there? Is the energy going to be there? It's going to be a tough test for sure. And Ben Gaudreau, world junior goalie. I mean, this is not an easy team to beat given the circumstance, especially.
Yeah, that's right. And not just to mention kind of the goalie rotation, but players are going to be in and out of the lineup as well.
Sure.
You're going to see some of the young guys getting in there. One thing before we get to our life tips here with Mikey K, just kind of want to quickly talk about the defense, because I think it's looked really solid here early on in the season, and they've kind of shifted around the pairings a little bit. The last game that we were doing, Zach, when we were kind of talking about Finn Harding playing with Dragusica, and then you had Sharp with Von Richter. It's just a little bit of a different look, but everything's looked pretty solid here so far.
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, I really like the way Fibiger and Sharp look together, Mikey. But you also have the option of moving some things around a little bit. And we saw Sharpie get some looks with some other guys as well. They're not afraid to go righty-righty. Stevie Leskovar, when he's up with Chaz Sharp, and I even talked to Stevie before the game, I said, you're looking fast. And JR told us on the last edition of Trout Talk that he was working with, track and field coaches to improve his footing. And, Stevie's taken a big jump. So on the left side, which was, a big concern, losing guys like Charlie Callahan and Casper Larson, I really like the way they've bounced back. So you've got the right side, which is so rock solid between Sharp, Von Richter, and Harding. But that left side's really coming together. And all of a sudden, this is a tight unit in front of some really good goaltending.
100%. I mean, that's when I think that's when it started with the different defense pairings was on Friday night in Oshawa. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Zach, it was Chaz Sharp. It was all the time Chaz Sharp with Fibiger before that. And then it was Chaz Sharp with Stevie Leskovar. And then it was Fibiger with Finn Harding. They played well together back there as well. And the young guys played really, really well. I'll tell you right now. And Dragusica played well back there on defense, and he's just going to get better. And Chad Sharp, I mean, back there, he's just such a staple point back there in that defense. Just such a leader. He scored a big goal against the Niagara Ice Dogs on Thursday night to get the game winning goal. And he's unbelievable. And the guys look up to him. He's the perfect captain back there, especially for that defense as well. And the pairings are just that's the way it's going to be right now. So. With the pairings, but I like what James Richmond's doing right now, and everything's clicking. So let's hope it clicks here today.
Yeah, Chaz Sharp's come up with a few big goals. You talk about the one in Niagara. He also scored the first goal of the game on the power play against Brantford. So that's some big ones there. And I know we talked about him earlier, but Dragusica, I love the physical play. Kind of when I played, I like that defenseman that really steps up. He laid that huge hit. I can't remember who it was who was coming after him, but his gloves were off. Yeah, okay, it was Tishurna. His gloves were off before he even got there. It was awesome. I love seeing that kind of stuff. Great.
That's good. That's the way you want from a defenseman. Exactly. That's what James Richmond like. He likes hard-nosed defensemen. He
Right.
likes guys that are gonna hit. He likes guys that are gonna get in there and stick up for the teammates. That's a perfect defenseman to have back there. And this kid's just gonna grow. If you see this guy, I'm telling you, Dragusica back there, and you see him on the bus, whatever, for the road games, he is so focused. He has his ear pods in, whatever, doesn't say a word. Just like just focused.
Ready to go.
Focused the whole time. Oh my, you could totally see it. He's a mean boy. And then that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Maybe we'll be able to
I
get
love
him on
it.
the show. Maybe we'll be able to get him
Yeah,
on the show
I
here
think we
at some
should.
point.
Yes,
Yeah,
we should.
talk to him
Yes.
for sure.
I want to
Okay.
know
so-
what he's listening to in his AirPods.
Yeah, that's true.
Locked
That's-
in.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
really good
You know what? We're gonna ask him that. We should
That's
ask
a
him.
great question. Okay,
I'll ask him. I'll ask him that. Yeah. Anyway.
we gotta get going here. We have about 2 minutes. We got to get to life tips. Mikey, lay it on us. What do you have?
Don't hog the stuffing. Don't hog the stuffing, share. Don't hog the stuffing, share. That's all I have to say. Don't hog. Share and be nice. Coming up Thanksgiving. There you go. There's your life tip of the day. And save some for everybody. I know, yes, we had times because we had like so many people at our Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, whatnot. But hey, share, right? So everybody, you know, my goodness, my nephew, he's stacking it up like crazy, the stuffing, right? I'm behind him. I said, hey, what's going on over here? Come on. I said, so jokingly, right? I look down, he starts laughing, but anyway, so yeah, share the stuffing. That's all I'd say.
Share the stuffing. That's a perfect way to
Yes.
end Trout Talk here. Episode number 12, I think, overall, and episode number 3 on the radio. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We got the Mississauga Steelheads and the Erie Otters coming up next, so don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss that one coming up. For Brendan Lang here, Mikey K, Mike Karafalidis, and Zach Bodenstein, thanks for listening. Have a great day, and you're listening to Trout Talk on Saga 960 AM.